Remove the locking block by gently prying upward. Gently pry the ejector upward. Remove the complete assembly, including the trigger and the trigger bar. To remove the striker assembly, push down on the plastic sleeve, taking the pressure off the slide-in cap assembly. Slide the cap assembly out of the closed position and clear of the slide. Press the firing pin block to release any pressure. Push the striker assembly up and out of the slide. We recommend that you do not disassemble the striker assembly. There are two small pins located on the left side of the sear housing assembly. The pin closest to the muzzle is the small sear pin and doesn't go through the housing completely. Look into the housing and you will see the right end of the pin. Notice how the pin is placed over the internal spring. With a screwdriver, push the pin all the way to the left. Take the disconnector and sear and place into the frame. The disconnector and sear are placed in the middle with the disconnector placed through the hole in the frame and the bottom resting on the trigger bow. Insert a punch through the push rod, the disconnector, and the sear. Make sure you clean each one. Get all of the debris off. Scrub this really well. Scrub down the forcing cone. Loosen up the debris. Now we want to check the crosshairs. When you're standing and holding your firearm in the air, you're never going to hold the firearm straight up and down. So set it in a good vise, make sure it's straight up and down, and look down your scope without pushing it forward or backward and affecting the eye relief, and turn the scope until the crosshairs are straight up and down, as close as your eye can get them. And they're there. Now that we've got to that point, let's tighten up the screws. When you take the firing pin out, you can turn that and that will release the bolt which is up here. You can see the lugs and the extractor on the right side. So let's take the firing pin out. First we take out the firing pin key. And this is a very small key, and you notice it's in two sections here. Do not spread those apart or bend them in any way. Slide the firing pin out, set it aside. Okay, you can see the pin is not pushed out all the way. There's no need to. Raise the firing pin slowly. There is a small spring seated under the firing pin. This is the firing pin rebound spring. Notice one end is closed. This is the end that rests against the firing pin. Lay this down like this, and inside here, make sure that this is closed. You can see the cartridge block. That has to be depressed, and you just slide it apart. So now you have the breech bolt and the slide assembly here. pull the trigger pin out. Same type of pin as the hammer pin. Same configuration, they're both identical. You take out the sear and the trigger. It's a Tapco trigger. And now we need to take out the safety. And to do that, there's a latch right here. Just take a screwdriver and get underneath it and pull it out like this. Once you've accomplished that, pull it backwards and pull down. And these can be very tight, and you may need a little assistance. I have a non-marring tool here, which I'm going to tap on a little bit. And that's all it needed, and you can see how that comes out of there. The next piece we're going to take out of the receiver is the slide, and you can see that right here. And if you notice on the receiver here, this area here is larger than the rest of it, and that's the location where this slide has to be pulled up and through. Spring will come out, and please notice which end was in first and came out last when you're disassembling this. Okay, next we're going to pull to the rear the bolt carrier and the bolt. Lift the carrier straight up, come underneath and push your bolt up, pull the bolt out. And as we take these apart, this is the follower pin. This part here is the catch for the operating rod. And as you can see down in here, we pull this out. You can see down in here it has a part that's called the accelerator. And that accelerator is held in place by an accelerator pin. We're not going to disassemble that. We'll just lay that down. Okay, we're going to remove the bolt. Grab the stud, pull the bolt back a little bit and bring it up. I'm twisting the stud towards myself and it won't come out. So if I twist the stud back to the right, it comes out. And the reason being is this firing pin needs to hit that slot right here to come out, and that's why we rotated it back the opposite direction. But it's pretty easy to get in and out. That's your bolt. Now to pull out the spring unit, mash down the safety lock. Here you have the captive firing pin spring assembly, and here you have the firing pin, and here you have the firing pin return spring. It's very tiny, you can see it here, and we're going to put that in a little magnetic dish over here. There's a rail over here, and we have a rail on this side. And that's all we're going to put, other than on the barrel. And what we're going to do here is rub this all around the barrel, up underneath it as well. Remember, a clean gun shoots on target.